All right, guys, we're going live today. Sorry about my voice. Still a bit under the weather. Felt the need to do this video because we're going to be talking about Laura Fry and Fryer. Sorry, I'm trying to queue up her video right now. Oh damn, dude, my history exploded exponentially. Sorry about that, guys. Hold on. Okay, let me pause this. Get it queued up. Cause hey Daniel, what's up, brother? Hey, great win for the Heat yesterday. I only saw the highlights. I didn't get to watch the game. I'm feeling really well. Rough weekend, man. So yeah, man. Cheers, brother. Good to have you here. Talking about Xbox today. One of the OGs for the old Xbox crew. And you know what? We're gonna watch her video, and she said something in her video that I was not aware of. I thought her tenure at Xbox wasn't as long as what it was. So yeah, Daniel. Again, thanks for being here. Cheers, bro. Um, so I did actually what I call a hat tip video on my channel, and the reason I do hat tip videos is to, for example, you guys know I talk a lot about politics. Well, I shouldn't say that. I haven't talked about politics in a while. I'll try and do a video today to catch up. Because I do have some people who say to me, like, oh, am I happy about this or happy about that? Um, Again, when I talk about my channel, with the stuff that I do, like the video I did the other day, the all in podcasts, I wanted to make that a weekly thing. It's kind of hard because, again, when I do these videos, I have to be interested in the stuff that I'm doing. And sometimes I find myself like I don't want to be that channel like other channels that just goes through the motions. The reason why I'm doing this one right here is because, like I said, I feel obligated because I did a hat tip video focusing on her channel, and it's a great channel, guys. You might not agree with the stuff she says, might have issues with her perspective and all that stuff. That's fine. It's just for me, it's always been respect for her and the old crew that helped get the Xbox off the ground. And of course, being a person that follows the industry, I find her perspective very interesting. So that's why I kind of did the video to kind of put her on blast to the people that in my audience now. The video that she did, quite a few people were not happy about it. In fact, that video blew up. Not anything that I did. Um, so I did share it with a couple of people. Um, so like because they were talking about the topic of all the stuff going on with Xbox, and a lot of these guys are Xbox centric. Right. So anyway, it blew up. It went big, and we're gonna discuss all that stuff because I didn't really give my thoughts. In fact, Hiba did a video discussing all the topics with Laura and her video, which it's a good video. Number one, number two, I agree with the majority of what he said. I didn't do that in my video just for the simple fact I was just highlighting her. And she does have the videos on her channel. Definitely go check it out. The videos are really good. But let me switch this up real quick. This is our newest video. I see some people were sharing it. Like I said, I was under the weather this weekend, guys. So prep this real quick. And the title of our video is Love Hurts. And since I got it expanded, we'll hit play. I might do some commentary through the video as well, or I might wait to the end. I'm not exactly sure. It depends. So I watched this one time through already, so I'll do it on this channel for you guys. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section.
And what can I get you for Christmas?
Don't tell him what you want. He's a liar.
Let the kid talk.
You disgust me. How can you live with yourself?
Just cool it, Zippy.
You sit on a throne of lies.
I've noticed a disturbing trend the last few years regarding feedback. It's top of mind right now because with my last video where I was sharing my opinions of Xbox, there was a lot of discussion, there was a lot of disagreement, and there were even some personal attacks sent my way, perhaps to try to discredit me.
You stink.
I think you're gonna have a good Christmas, all
You
right?
smell like beef and cheese. You don't smell like Santa.
Okay.
Oh! He's a monster!
First, it's really nice that people were concerned about me. Thank you. But don't worry, it's cool. It's the internet. I've been online since the mid 80s, and I've been flamed by the best of them. It takes a lot to faze me. I loved hearing your experiences with Xbox, your concerns about the future, and even your disagreement with some of the things I had to say. I don't delete your comments because I think feedback is a gift, and I don't buy into this idea that's been floating around about criticism being a bad thing, and that somehow if you criticize a game or a console, that you dislike it. And to be clear, I love the Xbox. I love the team that made the Xbox. I love the gamers that played the games. I loved all of the game developers who helped make it successful. I will always have a soft spot for Microsoft and Xbox. I'm critical of the current state because I want them to do better. I want them to be successful. In fact, I want the entire games industry to be successful. I want there to be a Nintendo and a PlayStation and Valve and Windows and Xbox. I want the entire games industry to thrive. And the only way that happens is if everyone is brave enough to discuss their ideas, their likes and their dislikes, to respectfully disagree, to share their point of view. And it's hard because in some of these companies, it's not encouraged. As Thomas Sowell once said, when you want to help people, you tell them the truth. When you want to help yourself, you tell them what they want to hear. When you're in a team that doesn't want to hear criticism, it can be very difficult. It's easier to be a seal on the sidelines, clapping at every stupid idea an executive or game director floats out. It's much harder to risk your position and potentially your job to tell them that they need a course correction. And our games are labors of love, and that just makes it harder. It makes it much harder to see them clearly. My friend Itagaki used to refer to all of his games like children. He was so passionate about his game, and my Japanese was so poor that it took me a bit to understand that he was referring to his game and not his actual child. So when I saw all of this passion and disagreement regarding my opinions about Xbox, it didn't upset me. I got excited. I was thrilled because it meant people still cared about Xbox. They care about what happens, and that's good for Xbox. It means it's not too late. They can still recover. And here's the thing, getting people to care about your product, your game in this distraction-filled world, that is a really difficult task. Go ask any indie developer out there, and they will tell you how hard it is to get people to care. Gamers have lots of choices, so the last thing you want to do is to shut down their feedback. You want to encourage it. If people are talking about your game, they care. And feedback is just an opinion. It doesn't mean you're going to implement everything they ask for. It means you're going to listen and figure out if what they're saying will make your game better or not. And if it will make the game better, then tell them, yes, thank you, great idea. Guess what? We're going to implement it. We'd love to have you back to try it and see what you think. And what you'll often find as a game developer is that many of the ideas or suggestions are already things you planned on doing. So it's easy to agree and close the loop on those ideas too. In general, you can divide the feedback into a few buckets. There are the new ideas that you hadn't considered, that are good and they fit the vision. They're the ideas that you're already doing. And then there are those ideas that are out of scope or don't fit with what you want the game to be. And here's the thing, it is so powerful when a game developer says, I heard you, I love it, please come back and try it in the future. Because now that game developer has invested fans. When you know that you're being listened to and that people care about what you have to say, you're going to keep coming back. You're going to keep giving feedback. And that's how you build a community.
My name is Johan Pilestad. For 1.5 years, you've been fighting the enemies of democracy. And one of the requests that you've always had is for us to send more dudes. And the best way for us to be able to do that is to bring another platform into the fight. Helldivers 2 is coming to Xbox. And this...
So hearing all of this feedback is important even when it's difficult. Every bit of my success in my career was built entirely on listening to the feedback from my team and acting on it. It's that simple, because the people who are doing the work, the coders, the artists, the musicians, They know what's wrong, and if you can surface it and fix it, you can make the game and the team better. Team leaders need to be listening and sorting through what the team is saying and what the fans are saying, and applying it to making the team and the game better. And the truth is that sometimes people aren't the best at giving feedback. That's why it's so difficult. What offends one person doesn't offend another. Sometimes people's communication styles can be a little too direct. Sometimes people get passionate and almost borderline angry when they're talking about something they care about. It's just tough. But as a producer or leader of a team, that's your job. You have to meet the team more than halfway. It's your job to be good at listening, even when the message is delivered with passion. Let me give you an example. When I was working on Gears of War 2, they moved my team over to this new building that had these barn doors on all of the offices. And the problem with them is you could hear every single conversation going on in an office. It was incredibly distracting, and the team affectionately ended up calling our area the dog kennels. One day I get a call from one of the leads at Epic, and he's pretty upset. So he's talking fast, and I told him, look, I'm going to put you on speaker so I can capture what you're trying to say. I type much faster than I write, and when I write things down, it's easier for me to remember them. So we're going back and forth, he's yelling about things that aren't working, and eventually once he's gotten it all out, I summarized what I heard and told him I'd get back to him. At this point, I needed some water, so I hop up, open my barn door, and the hallway was full of people. It was full of really concerned people, including my boss. And I thought at first that something really terrible had happened, like someone had died. But it turned out that they were concerned about me. I told him, look, I understand he sounds really spicy, but that's just how he is when he gets passionate about a problem, and all of his feedback was valid. So don't worry, I'm good.
You've got no arms left. Yes, I have. Look, just a flesh wound.
I don't particularly like spicy phone calls, but it wasn't personal. And at the end of the day, my job was to help Epic and Xbox make a great game together. He was right on several issues, and there were things we needed to fix. And that's one of the biggest struggles for people when it comes to feedback. It means communicating with a bunch of people that don't think like you, don't react to things the way you do. It's not something that ever gets easy because there's so much variability in communication styles. Of course, there is feedback that's mean, that's personal, and it can be hard to deal with. I remember one time at Oculus, it was the day before the Thanksgiving weekend. I had family coming into town, and I was really looking forward to just relaxing and eating a big turkey dinner. I was exhausted, but I was in a really good mood going into my last meeting with one of our researchers. Well, I get into the meeting, and I'm kind of in vacation brain mode, and he was mad. He was mad because he didn't agree with one of the decisions that had been made. And when I didn't immediately confirm that he was correct, he flipped out. He started berating me and insulting me, saying I was dumb. He was just plain mean. It was quite shocking. We'd had many passionate debates, and never once had he attacked me personally. I'm pretty tough, but he was vicious, and I think because of the circumstances, it landed. And I'll admit that I lost a lot of respect for him because I didn't realize until that attack that he was one of those people, the kind that melts down and flips tables if they don't get their way. That said, I didn't allow his meltdown to impact my ability to give feedback, nor did I shut down his. I still wanted to hear what he had to say about the project. I just didn't want to hear any more what he thought about me.
Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries.
Is there someone else up there we could talk to?
As the leader of the team, it's my responsibility to meet him more than halfway, to hear feedback even when delivered poorly. And this is part of why you see so many games failing and going off the rails, because game developers aren't good at turning off that emotion, ignoring the meltdown crowd, and just listening to the feedback. They aren't mining the gold that comes from their fans, the people who are paying attention and care about their games. And sometimes it's sadly the game developers that themselves are on Team Meltdown. They're game developers that if you disagree with anything about their vision, they just don't listen to you anymore. And I understand it's hard. It's hard because when you're making a game, it's your baby.
It's funny. It's like I joke about this with the team. It's like, oh, we made a game with The Last of Us 2. We made certain creative decisions. That got us a lot of hate. A lot of people love it, but a lot of people hate that.
Who gives a shit?
Exactly. But
But if you can't close that feedback loop to know what your gamers are wanting, you'll eventually fail. And the decisions that you make as a game maker or as the leader at Xbox have consequences. We saw this last week when Xbox laid off several team members and canceled game contracts with third parties. That led to additional layoffs at external studios like Romero Games. My heart goes out to the people that lost their jobs and to the people that still remain and are trying to sort through the challenging environment. It will take some time for things to improve. My hope is that the strong reactions to this situation in Xbox will help them. It's clear they still have fans. People care about them and they want them to be successful. And my hope is that Xbox will hear the feedback, and no matter what direction they go, they will grow and learn from what they're seeing. Because ultimately, Xbox has a huge impact on the rest of the industry, and I want an industry that's thriving and growing.
It kind of broke through. It actually took a couple months for that game to develop some traction. But at that point, we were getting this kind of great feedback from our players through the mail in those days. So that took a while.
All right, guys, I kind of wanted to let that play out a little bit before I get any commentary on it. And my commentary is going to be short. First and foremost, I have a lot of respect for this lady. She definitely was essential when it came to the forming of the Xbox, which is why this channel exists. I do like a lot of her input when it comes to the industry aspect of video gaming, right? And rightfully so, because as you see in her video, she kind of broke it down, and the way she breaks it down, she's just not somebody I'll use myself, right? I've never worked on a video game. I've never done anything like that. So she definitely has her qualifications. And that's the thing that I respect about her the most. Like, she's actually been in the trenches, doing the battles, especially with the, in fact, I really appreciated this video because of that, because she has those experiences and then she can share it. It's one of the reasons, like I tell you guys, to watch the Power On documentary. It's probably one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. And I mean, across the board. Not just because it's Xbox, but they did a really good job with the presentation, the pacing, everything. And then they got the people that weren't involved, and she was definitely involved in the projects, and it shows. And so that's one of the main reasons that I put her channel on blast on my channel, and it's because I do respect a lot of people like that. Because, like I tell you guys all the time on my channel, that it is a culture, and knowing about the industry and following industry insiders. And by industry insiders, I mean people that actually work within the industry. Whether you agree with them or not, whether you like them or not, that's not the point. It's just a part of the culture. And that's what I kind of rant about on my channel, because that aspect of gaming or nerd or geek culture in general is kind of dying. A lot of stuff that you see right now is people that are participating in it, but they're not, doing a deep dive into all this stuff. And I'm not saying you have to. But I think for people like myself, especially, it's something that I notice. And I think it's important for a lot of people to notice, because when certain things happen in the industry, there's a lot of assumption. Right? And when there's assumption, dude, that's what causes a lot of the problems. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people just don't know what's going on. But if you get into the culture and you follow the stuff, and then you look at the people and, not just what's being said, especially in the media and online, but what's actually being done. And again, like she brought up the whole issue with Microsoft, right? And I've spoken about this ad nauseum on this channel. The thing that drives me nuts about the layoffs is that it's not just a Microsoft thing, right? Like I say all the time, it is bigger than Microsoft. For us as fans and for us as consumers, yeah, we can personalize it, because how is that going to affect us? How is that going to affect the way that we interact with the brand that is Xbox, right? Like from the gaming to the services, right, to how we spend our money, the investments that we've made, not just in money but in time, And so that stuff, yeah, definitely. But that's more of a personal thing, right? A lot of the stuff that's talked about online when it comes to the layoffs is very generalized, right? And I don't mind it being generalized, but again, when people don't make the connection, that it's not just a Microsoft problem, right? That it's a economy problem. It goes beyond Microsoft. That's the part that drives me nuts, right? Because the only issue I have with the previous video that she did, and it's not, I shouldn't say issue, I'll say observation with that video, because I think she's, especially after you watch this video, everything she says in earnest, right? She's putting it all out there, and then it's up to you if you like it or not. That's fine. It's like when I put my videos out there. I have no problem with this video where she says, I like Xbox and all this. Yeah, she just wants like she said, she wants the industry to succeed. The only observation I have about her first video is how it was weaponized, and that was one of the main problems that I had with her video, right? And not so much her. I mean, anybody can have an opinion, like I tell you guys all the time. Like how somebody comes into this channel and doesn't agree with me, you can stay for whatever you want in the chat. That's fine with me. But at the end of the day, that I think that's one thing I would mention to the fact that she commented about that, because I don't know if people did. And I know she was getting a lot of comments. I knew she would get a lot of comments, dude. I've seen it myself. I mean, I'm talking all across social media. I mean, look, dude, I'm not the meme calling, and like there's some pretty vicious stuff being said to her and stuff like that. But she's a big girl, as she said, and she knows the internet. She should, especially working for Xbox all these years, man. Like if you're an Xbox, I don't have to tell you this if you guys are Xbox out there. Right? If you guys are like that, you guys know what time it is when it comes to this brand, right? So I'm not telling you something you guys don't know. And I believe it, dude, because she's been through far more strenuous things, trying to get the console off at launch, and she went through the trial by fire. So she says that, I believe it. But I think that's the only thing she needs to kind of pay attention to, right? It's good to get the perspective out there, but a lot of people took her first video, they ran with it, and they weaponized it, right? And they used that as a talking point, and other people, a lot of other people use it as a blunt force object, to just attack and try to destroy the Xbox brand. Look, I say this all the time, dude. As you guys know about the video I did on Saturday where I talked about my pop culture stuff, I'm across the board when it comes to a lot of this stuff, dude. And it's easy for me now to just move, because when there's something going on in one specific genre I don't like, I just move to another one, and that's easy for me. I have no problem doing that. Marvel sucks right now. Superhero movies aren't really the best right now. I just switched over to anime, right? And then comic books suck. I just started reading manga, right? Internet, Xbox Society, the hardcore, or the guys that actually bleed green, we're solid. The rest of the gaming industry, people that are like influencers and opinionated guys and stuff like that, they can all just go away. Don't really watch a lot of their stuff, right? Just jump on my Xbox, enjoy my games. I started playing. What did I play yesterday? The game that I bought, Sandland. I bought that when it launched. Well, did I buy it when it launched? No, I take that back. I didn't, because I was trying to find a physical copy of it, and I wasn't able to get a physical copy of it. And I don't know if I told you guys I don't like really ordering stuff from Amazon when it's collectibles, but I've been forced to do so. And for the most part, it's been working out. I've only got I ordered a Funko Pop, and it came in kind of, the box is dented. I can't stand that. Anyway, it's harder for me to get the physical copies of games. Because of where I live, I have to pre-order stuff, and I just can't keep up with it. Right, so I've been finding myself trying to get through Amazon. Anyway, I went ahead. I just bought it digitally because I just wanted to play it. Right, even though I want the physical copy, I'll get the physical copy later. I'll go on Amazon today and I'll look at it, see if it's available. But anyway, I bought the digital copy. I started playing it. It's called Sandland, and it's a really, really awesome game. And the reason I bring that up is a lot of times when I look at something, I don't need to actually try it. I kind of know myself. I know the kind of games that I like to play. And if something that I can tell that I'm going to like, 10 to 1, I'll end up liking it. Now, having Game Pass is a good aside to that, right? Like The Alters, for example. The Alters just got released on Game Pass, right? They announced that months ago. There's a lot of people that was looking forward to that game. From the jump, man, from the first trailer, I already knew that this was the game that I would, if I didn't have Game Pass, if it wasn't in Game Pass, if I had to buy it, I would just go ahead and buy it. Because I could tell already that's the type of game that I would like. And it has not disappointed me. Right, I told you guys about my first playthrough with the game. It's absolutely awesome. Easily a buy for me. In fact, I should pick it up this week. Because for me, that's what I tend to do with game guys. That's why this whole narrative, people don't buy games. It's more than just the games, guys. You have to look at what people are going through right now. I say this all the time too. That if people can't afford games, they can't afford games. Right? There's a lot of people, man, that there's things in life that they want to get that they can't afford. Right? Hey, what's up, Faded brother? I'm just doing a follow-up on Lara Fryer's video. I did her first video. This is kind of like her response video. And it's a good video. I recommend everybody check it out if you didn't watch it. But thanks for being here, Faded. She gives a lot of insight. That's why I like her channel when she talks about the industry. But that's my only knock on the first one. And again, that's more of an observation. Because, like I said, anybody is entitled to their opinion. But, you got to kind of read the room and some of this kind of stuff, man. I mean, it's something that's, like I said, I think that she was being honest and earnest with her evaluation and her opinions, right? But again, the industry as it is now, with the way the fans are and the consumers are and people that participate in gaming or pop culture in general, dude, it can be a negative and kind of it's just a negative environment, right? And that's what added fuel to the fire. And that's probably why she got a lot more comments. She got a lot of engagement on this video. On her first video, sorry. Which is probably why she did the second video. So, which is all good, man. Anyway, I just wanted to do that quick follow-up. And again, at the end of the day, man, if you guys love your games, just play your games. And it's all great, right? But yeah, Faded, thanks for stopping by, bro. Daniel Berry, thanks for stopping by as well. This video, how long am I going? Sorry. Let me stop sharing. Faded says, to be honest, I understand where she's coming from. My only issue with her opinion is that she don't speak for every consumer. No, 100% Faded, 100%. Right. And that's another problem I have because a lot of people took what she said and was speaking like they speak for everybody when it comes to gaming. That's some of the things I have a problem with some of the channels right now. Like, give your opinion, fine. It's your editorial. Get it off your chest. Like I do rants and I do media blasts on my channel all the time. But yeah, everybody's in a different space, dude. And some of this doesn't have to. And some of this has nothing to do with the actual system, the console, the services, or even the companies involved. Dude. Everybody's in their own way right now. If you had $1 billion right now in your bank, some of this stuff wouldn't bother you. Not you personally, Faded, but for some people that are out there complaining about the price of games, you end up going into a higher price. You end up raising your lifestyle, dude, and that a lot of that stuff goes out the door. You know what I'm saying? For some of the things that would bother you or you complain about, some of that stuff's dictated by where you are financially. And that's something that nobody's talking about, dude. That's why I talk about it on this channel because I see it. And it's not just gaming, dude, it's everything. Right? Everybody's ultra focused, man. If you're on a tight budget, dude, you're ultra focused. And like I said, man, one of the things these companies need to look at and realize is that sometimes people there are two things actually, right? I do this, dude. I make excuses not to buy stuff, right? And then the second thing is people become used to not buying things, right? Especially when it's something that's not needed, right? Because they're ultra focused on the things the necessities that they do need. They do need, and some people need it now more than ever just to survive. Faded says consumers are different from back in the days. Yeah, 100%. I mean, they might have grown gaming, and the gaming industry might have grown, but the carryover, I mean, the one for one with the actual growth of the industry and the people that actually participate in gaming on a personal level, on a more, like how we did back in the day. I guess I could say hardcore, that hardcore level. They're there. I mean, I'm here, right? And there's people like that are out there. But when you have the industry grow like it does, and you have so many players, right? and then now you have so many people making games. You know, again, Xbox is a perfect example. You know, that's what ticks me off when it says Xbox has no games, and they constantly are putting stuff on the console. Whether it's their own third party, indie, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you got an ecosystem like we have with Xbox, dude, and you're a gamer, man, you should be happy. In fact, if you're a gamer, you should own an Xbox. Just being honest. Right? You should own an Xbox. Because you're going to get the full effect of what Xbox is all about and what Microsoft gaming, right, should be. Faded Blade says, the only reason I'm complaining about game prices is because we're paying for games we don't own. In Nintendo's case, we don't own the Switch 2. The way they break in systems. Yeah, 100%. And that's been coming down the pipe, man. And again, like I said, you know, the entertainment industry does that. You know, music and movies, television shows. Everything's going digital. I think that's something. I saw. I didn't get to watch the full video, but one of the guys that I follow talks more about. He talks about. I follow him because he talks about comic books, but he's also a gamer, and he's talking about how the FBI is cracking down on companies that pirate software. Now, I don't know the full detail of everything. I didn't do the deep dive on it. I mean, for me, it doesn't really bother me on that level. But to your point, as you're saying, Faded, you know, sometimes some of this stuff happens because of what companies are doing, right? So if you can't get your fix from the company, then people take ulterior. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying, right? And the Hebots talked about that, right? Hebots said that. For me, back in the day when I had Dreamcast, dude, I bought all my things physically. I was a collector. On top of being a gamer, dude, I love to have pristine. It wasn't just about buying the games. It was also, I mean, it was about buying the games, playing the games. But you want to, I would keep my stuff in pristine shape. I was that dude, and this, even with my music CDs, I would open up the cases and I would, you know, grip the edges, push on the middle, man, to make sure I did the disc out properly. Dude, I had a disc cleaning thing. I would clean out my equipment. You know, far cry from where I am now, but that's how attention to detail I was on that kind of stuff. So of course, man, when the option to copy a game came up, I would get a copy game, and my friend would copy games for me too. But I can say that the games, like, and I think I was doing this more with Dreamcast. I bought all my Dreamcast games, and then the copies that I had were just, I would use the copies to play on and just keep all my stuff in a box, and that's how I was able to keep my cases like perfect. Right? So I did tell you guys I sold most of my collection. So when I sold it, man, I could say that it was mint in box, and I had all the inserts. I had everything, dude. If it came with inserts, like if there was like a sticker or if there, I kept it all in there, and I all kept it nice. And that's one thing I did like about being able to copy the games, just like how I burned CDs. I had the original CDs because again, I'm a collector, right? I like the jewel cases. I like album covers, dude. When I collect comic books, I like the covers. I don't, you know, as you guys know, if you guys read comic books, man, you don't like those crinkles in the spine, dude. You want it to be pristine. So, of course, you use the backing board straight into the acid Mylar protective sheet, and then you just slide it in there and just open it. That's why sometimes I would buy double of everything, right? So I'd have one to keep, so that's my collected copy, and then I have one that I can read. So if it got damaged, ripped, got creased, it didn't bother me. And I do that in every. I used to do that. That's why I say when I'm not as hardcore, I don't do that anymore. And then to your point, Faded Blaze, I mean, they're kind of taking that away, right? You know, again, you hear that all the time, right? You buy everything and own nothing. Faded says, you heard that Nintendo bricked someone's console because of a used game that they used on the Make Switch talk about it. A reach. Oh, yeah. And that's another thing, right? When people start doing that. And in fact, I think that's what that guy I was watching was talking about. Like he was saying, he's not for stealing or piracy or stuff like that. But what he was saying, he was more, and that's kind of how I am in a lot of ways, guys. I mean, the overreach, right? Or situations like this, right? This is one of the reasons why I'm anti-Sony, and right, because of all the issues we have with our privacy and our stuff like that. And they were just kind of like, oh, well, you know, not taking it seriously. And that's always been a thing for me. That's why with Xbox, right? They do take it seriously. And if they don't, dude, there's a group of people just waiting to pounce on them. And we benefit from that. We benefit from that as consumers. So that's when it works in our favor. Yeah, I think that's crazy, man. And if they're going to do that, I don't know. Maybe they can, dude. I mean, that's up to their consumers now. That's up to their consumers to deal with. You know, luckily for us, I mean, Xbox. I've never had an issue with anything on my Xbox. So for Nintendo, good luck with that. Faded says the sad part is that it's up to these companies to figure out video game preservation, not the consumer. But when the consumer figures it out, the company sues. You know, dude, that's an awesome point, Faded. That's an awesome point. I don't know if I would rely on the companies, man. Because you see, Microsoft was the one touting it, and you see the pushback they got, and from people in the industry as well. You know, they're and that's Microsoft, right? They want to be that, hey guys, let's all gather around and let's do it for the fans. Let's do it for the consumers. And you saw what happened with that. But yeah, when the consumer figures out, the company sues. I mean, in fairness, again, right? That's their stuff. For me, I Faded. I'm not saying I agree with them, man, but I do believe in the power of the wallet. And I know it's easy for me to say it now because I'm older, right? And so it's easy for me to walk away from things. That's what I do instead of wasting my time. Because my time right now, from when I was younger, I think money was an issue, definitely. But having that, but you have the time. Now it's the opposite for me, right? Not that money's not an issue, but what I'm saying is, like, I can afford to buy games I like when I was younger. Right? I had to jump through hoops to get the game I wanted. And so, but now, dude, it's more about the time for me. So if it's not worth my time, I'll walk away. It's just like there are people asking me about the Superman movie, because they know I'm into that kind of stuff, and I couldn't tell them anything because I didn't watch it. And they were like, "Oh, I figured you go watch it." Then I reminded them, like, "Oh, I'm more of a Marvel guy than a DC guy, and being on the being sick doesn't help." And I'm just not interested right now in watching a lot of movies in a theater, right? And there's just so much content I'm watching, like on streaming right now, or stuff that I bought. Like, there's movies that have come out that have been on sale that I picked up, man, and I still haven't got through those, And then, of course, you factor in the price, brother, and it's a perfect storm at that point, right? Why go out and spend all this money when I can just wait for it to come home, pay like $9 when it goes on digital, and then watch it there? I have a pretty good setup. And don't get me wrong, I miss that. I miss those days, but then my kids are older now. They got other stuff on their agenda, and that's not. When they want to do it, that's fine. Like if they release the K-pop Demon Hunters on Netflix, if they release that for theatrical release, I'm pretty sure my kids would want to go watch it. And I would go with them to watch it in the theater. In fact, I wouldn't mind watching it in the theater, because when you watch it on a small screen, as I was watching it, I realized, this would do really good in the theaters. It would look good on a big screen because of the animation is so good, and the action that they have on there, having a good sound system to listen to the soundtrack as the movie plays. But yeah, good point, Faded. Good point, bro. I don't know, man. We'll see. I guess what is the movement now? Stop killing games. I guess there's a YouTuber out there who's like, I guess he lost like 100,000. He was using like 100,000. He lost a lot of viewers. That's all I know. A lot of subscribers left his channel because of his opinions. Because I guess he's supporting the wrong side. Like I said, I never did the deep dive on it. I don't really care, honestly. I mean, I'm more focused on what we have here on Xbox. I'm more focused. Like, for me, if I had anything going on right now that I think I would make a suggestion, and I think I said this in the previous video, but it still holds true if I did. It's just to have Satya address the issues, kind of put all this stuff to rest. But again, maybe they got it so good that they don't have to worry about it. Sometimes that's another thing you got to keep in mind, that Microsoft's such a big company, and that the Xbox is everything that they want. Maybe they didn't do a couple things they were expecting, but for the most part, they're very successful in their eyes. So why should they care? But I would address it personally, because just to let the consumers know and the fans know, and I know they say silence is golden. I don't think it's one of those times. Plus, it's affecting the actual culture of gaming, and that's what bothers me the most. Did I miss anything, brother? Oh no, I think I got everything. All right, guys. So that's all I wanted to talk about. Thank you guys for stopping by. Appreciate the chat and all the commentary. Daniel, thanks for being here. Faded as always, man. Always looking forward to having you in the chat section, man. Yeah, and then shout out to Laura Fryer, man. Go check out her channel. She does more than just Xbox. She talks about a lot of different other things as well. Good channel, good person. Yeah. So, and again, industry insider. So it's really good to get perspective from somebody in the industry. All right, guys. Xbox All In channel. We'll stay good forever. We out.